Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to maximize our power. So, I hope you guys are ready. So, a lot of people think that I've been kind of going through this pack really fast, and I wanted to say this pack is one of those long haul packs where I'm going to be able to get several episodes out on this pack just because there's so much content. We have yet to even pull the corner of a wrapper off of this pack. Believe me, there's so much to do. So, speaking of stuff to do, I'm going to migrate the mob farms, all the mob farms that I have set up. I'm going to migrate it to this one room down here. This is a lot further underground, which makes it a little bit quieter. This will be turned into some other room, and this right here is just going to be the room where everything happens. So this entire floor is going to be switched to dirt, and we're going to end up just placing actually, we won't have to use anything that moves the mobs around. They're just going to spawn in here and get killed immediately by this, and everything's going to funnel into all of these drawers. Now, I did go ahead and get the drawer set up, and I did go ahead and organize all of the mob drop items that come from here and come from the nether, minus a few things. So, some of the things I don't have added, of course, these guys are really loud. Let's go ahead and kill those off for a second. Everything I have is, except for the spell books. I don't have the spell books listed, and nor do I have armor and stuff. And I'm gonna show you how we're going to route those items out. First of all, though, we need to sort of get ourselves a key, and I do have a key already. And we need to hook these drawers up. So, when it comes to storage drawers, there is something that I would consider a pipe, right? That you can use to connect drawer systems together. So let's go ahead and mine this out underneath here, and I'll kind of explain to you what I'm talking about. So right down here, let's go ahead and clear this other side out. What we need to do is we need to connect these drawer systems to each other. And to do that, I'm actually going to connect them via the trim. So to me, trim is, the equivalent, or at least I would say it's the equivalent, to what's pipes for storage drawers, or what pipes would be for storage drawers. But we need to figure out where we're going to place this. So I know this guy's going to be rocking and rolling, but we are going to need a little bit of space underneath here to control everything. So let's go ahead and dip down, and we'll start taking a peek here. So I think the drawer control will be perfect being placed right here. So let's grab the face, let's grab this thing, we'll place it right there. That's where the drawer controller is going to reside. We need to get some stuff hooked up to this bad boy. So, let's try to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to get that to happen. First of all, we had to mine all this out. Okay, so to hook this up, we're going to slap our trim onto the side. Hopefully we have enough trim. And like I said, this is going to act as a pipe. Just like that. And it's just going to connect there. It's going to connect right to the side. It's going to be the same for the other side. Except for we're going to need some more trim. So. And luckily trim is really cheap. It just requires some sticks. So it's just as simple as adding, make sure you hook all this together properly. These have to be touching one another. There we go. So what should happen is, say we have carrots in our inventory, right? And I know we have carrots, they're somewhere in one of these drawers, right? They're right here. There's 20 of them. I should be able to place these now in there, and now there's 80, right? So you see that did work properly. So with that said and done, we should be able to hit the key on here, and that should lock every single one of these down. So now, even if we pull out, let's say we pull out all of these blaze rods. See, there's none in there, but it does stay there still. So we shouldn't have to worry about any of those leaving. All right, so now that we have the controller, we should be able to auto pipe items into here. We can do that from the bottom, which is definitely going to be something we're going to have to do. There's a couple of different things that we have going on here that are going to need to be routed through the bottom. One of those is probably going to be this ender chest, because remember, that mob farm is doing its own thing. And then we also need to go ahead and get these items out of here. So, let's go ahead and make a trash can. The one from extra utilities should work just fine. It should be pretty simple. At least I think so. Is this that's a trash chest. We just need the trash can. There we go. So, trash can ready to go. I'm also going to... we need to figure out where we're going to route that trash can as well. That could be an issue. Actually, you know what? Let's just take this controller. And we're going to push this controller back one. I think that will work even better and save us on some trim. Look at there. So if you place that there, then we can just route all the items into the face. Yeah, that's going to work a little bit better. And then down here we can place like this trash can. Right here. Awesome. So let's go ahead and grab this guy, which is our ender chest. It's going to take a little bit of time to mine this thing up. And then here in a little bit we'll just make sure we route everything together. So we'll place the ender chest down here just so we can access it later on. And then we have our trash can here. Alright, we're going to be moving everything around. And hopefully this is fast enough. If not, we can add some speed upgrades later on. With some conduit. Good old-fashioned item conduit. So we're going to route that there. And that's looking pretty good. Now remember that this also produces fluid. So we need sort of this same setup we have here to happen down here as well. So we're going to try and get that to fit. Along with all this. So this right here, we'll set that to extract, always active. And since there's nowhere for things like swords and stuff to go, we really have to pay attention to that. So this will also be extract, always active, right? And this needs to be set to insert on the green channel. Everything should be on that channel, always active, always active. All the items are being pulled out of here and going directly into our entire storage system. All right, so first of all, this insert needs to be higher priority. This is going to be priority that is a higher priority than everything else. So if I set this to 10 or whatever, that's a higher number. So it should go into this inventory first. Now, I do want to do a quick run because this, I'll set that to 0. Because I'm pretty sure that's how this one is going to work in this case. The only way I can really test is to take a chest. And I just want to do a quick run of this. What we can do is we can take a chest, set that to extract, always active, and take one of these items that we have, or let's say that just happened, but we have no way of testing this. So let's pull out one of these items, and there's 29. If I put it in this chest, it should go back into here and be 30 instead of going into the trash can. That's because that has a higher priority. Now I hope that nothing gets backed up and just starts deleting itself, but we shouldn't encounter that problem. This is how we're going to delete things like armor and spell books that we really don't want right now, since we have a ton of them, right? We don't need tons of these spell books when we have so many of them stored away. Let's actually go ahead and take these out. Now what will happen though is the arrows and everything that's not in here already, which I've already went through and sorted, that everything that is in here should be in this wall. And we should be good to delete them, right? We should. Hopefully. Yes. Now, the only other thing that I want to put on here later on is going to be void upgrades. Right now, I don't think we have enough to void anything off, but we are going to make some obsidian here later on that's going to help us with that. So, that should be pretty much ready to go. The only other thing left to do is, of course, hook this up properly. And then also make sure our experience is being converted like it's supposed to, right? That's another thing that we need to get done. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that hooked up. And this was the main thing I wanted to show. And then we should be ready to dump everything into it. So when it comes to all the fluid routing and everything, this is exactly what it looks like. And then I'm going to go ahead and place this in the corner. Now, we can also cover that with a facade so we get this nice look. So this guy is actually going to be moved around a bit because this is where we're going to move our experience and stuff like that. Or what I could do is actually make a separate ender tank that is going to, I think that's what I'll do. I'll use a separate ender tank that is going to pull out of here and just fill up with experience. I think that'll be the best thing to do, but I have to recolor this thing to a different color. But anyways, this is what we have. All you got to do now is just sort of cover everything up, and this is going to look super good. Now I do need to extract everything to this. I almost forgot about that. So I'm going to just go ahead and set up a separate extraction cable Let me go ahead and break these because there's no need for these now. And we'll just hook that down here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll dump all of the rest. I'm going to finish this one off first, and then I'm going to use this to store all of those magic books. Because I don't know what those are used for yet. They might have a use later on down the road, so I definitely don't want to dispose of them. So when we set this to insert, by the way, this needs to be on, like I said, a higher priority. Actually, this doesn't need to be on high priority at all. We just set this to always active. And we shouldn't see too many things going into this trash can, if any. Like the bone and stuff, that should be increasing. There we go. And nothing is going into the trash can right yet. But swords and stuff totally should be going in the trash can. I think this trash can, by the way, is so vast, I don't even know if we'll see any of those things. But if you feel like things are going to go in here and you don't want them to, you can always set a filter, and this will filter out the items. And then you can actually have filters with inside filters. With inside filters, it's like filter inception when you start getting into the extra utilities filters, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, you can see this is kind of slow. So I might work on making some speed upgrades. But for right now, this is going to be fast enough for just dumping. I don't think this is going to be super crazy. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get this covered in dirt. And then we're going to pop that. And I think we should start working on upgrading our thermal machines so we can have more power. I think that's what we're going to finish up on today. Almost one thing I forgot. I almost forgot something. I ended up making this saw a little while ago, and that was mainly to get sawdust. I want to kind of show you here that we can make this sawdust, or at least I think so. Let's grab... I want to make a cardboard box for mechanism, because I want to be able to move things around, right? So the box requires these compressed sawdust. Ah, that's what it is. We need 6 of those. And some packing tape, and we can make ourselves a cardboard box. Now this thing is super useful because we can pretty much pick up anything, including spawners with it, but it's actually very useful for things like this, for moving. I know there's something we can use for this, but this box, by the way, if you shift right click, it pops it back off and you can reuse it. But it also works on spawners, right? So this works on a lot of different machines and things like that. So be careful with it. It can cause some things to mess up, but it is useful for moving blocks around. And like I said, we can move spawners with it. So that's something that we're going to use maybe eventually when we go to upgrade this guy to a resturb spawner later on down the road. Just because I know this is the most satisfying thing to watch in Minecraft, I figured I would go ahead and do it. I don't know why that's so good, but it always is. And I know you guys love it just as much as I do. So, this should be working phenomenally now. We should be getting levels. I want to make sure that my experience is working. Is everything flowing? It actually doesn't look like that is flowing. It's just filling up the pipes, it looks like. I can't tell. Is this going up? If this isn't going up, it's because we have our inputs and outputs kind of messed up. But I can... Okay, so apparently the input is on the left side, and the output is on the right side? That's so weird when the front says it's facing this way, but apparently that's not the way... Yeah, who knows? It's so weird. When you hold shift on here, it tells you what side's what, but it doesn't tell you... I guess it does tell you the left. You know, I'm a derp, chat. Don't even. Alright guys, so we have some transposing to do. I went ahead and made myself a fluid transposer. I have this guy just exporting to an ender tank so that way we can do our machine work elsewhere and we can still utilize our ender tank. So let's go ahead and place this over here. Now I think I need a hammer right here. And this, I believe this guy can pull or push fluid directly into this. At least I hope so. That's the plan anyways. We place this here and we right click this. That should allow us to set the config. Or is it this way? Which one is it, chat? It's one of these. It's one of these. You know what? I feel like maybe I need to change this to auto input. You know, I thought this was a thing. I thought this auto-filled. Yes, I was wrong. So we're going to need to break this, and we're going to have to use a fluid pipe, which is fine. I hate losing fluid, but let's place that here. And then we'll just export directly into here. And when we are done, we can actually pull out. It's no big deal. But this should maintain and refill back up because it is hooked to our storage. So what do we need this for? Well, we were going to need to get upgrades. So thermal, and we search kits. We'll find that we have 4 different types of kits. And later on, I don't think these, there are some creative craftable items late game, but none of them are here. But the Signalium kit is one that we are definitely going to need to use this for. So in order to get this, we need Signalium ingots. Well, Signalium ingots is not that hard to get, nor is the Electrum gear. Right? These are alloys, and Signalium can actually be made inside of our alloy smelter. The problem is when we need to get Cryothium. We cannot get Blizz Powder, or at least I've not seen any spawn in the world. I don't know if they do spawn in the world, to be honest. That might be disabled in configs, and I haven't had time to check the configs. But from what I have experienced so far, either passive mobs from vanilla are just overriding everything, or these are just such a rare... I know these are a rare spawn, but I have seen them, you know, more active in other packs. But I think, regardless of if we can find them or not, we're going to have to go this route. And that is to just manually make Blizz Powder. And luckily, you can do that with snowballs and some experience. Now, you can use Essence. It is, you know, it is routable. Essence is available to be used, but we're converting everything over to regular experience just because it's more universal. At least I think that way. So, now that we have that hooked up, let's get some snowballs. And we'll do a stack, and luckily these stack in a full stack instead of 16, and these are going to convert for us. So let's get a chest. And we'll go ahead and have this export out the side. And that should get us a little bit. Now, this is going to be very slow, as you can see. I don't know if we have any other kits. We might be able to make some hardened kits. Let's see, do we have the ability to make these? There's one. So there's a hardened kit. And then we have this one, which we might have enough of. Silver, I don't know. We have 4 Electrum. That is really what we need. And then I want to show you this. So this is requiring the hardened copper, but we can get away with quartz. So the Ender.io quartz also counts as well. So, hey, we can actually upgrade this to a reasonable speed. We slap that on there. It's already going to go quite faster, but we can actually throw some augments on here. But these augments, we're going to use the auxiliary reception coil. This is going to speed up our machine, but it's going to increase the power usage. But we want to increase the speed of our machine, so that's what the augment is that we're going to need for this. So 2 of those, and that's as fast as we can make this machine right now, right? And it's going to show you it's going to use 120 RF. We are making plenty of power here. If we need more, I can always flip that on, and that will, of course, start burning some of that hydrogen and generate quite a bit of power on demand, which is always pretty nice. So we should start getting some Blizz Powder. Look at that. Lovely Blizz Powder. Alright, so we need to use this to make Cryothium. So let's go back to our kits and take a look, and Cryothium is what we need. And look at that, we made 4 Cryothium. Now, in order to get the resonant, which is the top tier, we're going to need to worry about Lumium. Lumium is actually pretty easy to make as well, because there's an Ender.io recipe. Normally, if you're going the thermal dynamic route, or thermal foundation route, it can get kind of messy. The reason I say that is because you're going to have to make Lumium blend, which is energized glowstone, which has to be melted down, and you melt it down inside of a magma crucible. It's quite a few steps, but luckily we can get around a lot of those crafting recipes because of Ender.ios in this pack. And it seems like there's alloys for it, which is fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and make some of these alloys, and that should allow us, after we're done with all that, because I think that's the only thing we have to worry about, because even Enderium can be made. We just need to make Ender Base, which is platinum. We do have platinum. I think we get platinum as a random output from the sag mill. Doesn't show exactly where. I think it's the dust that we get. So platinum dust right here. It is a output. I think it comes from, I don't remember if it's nickel. Is it nickel? Yeah, it's from nickel. So right here, the sag mill, when pulverizing nickel, you have a chance of getting platinum, which is great because platinum is wonderful. And it's going to allow us to make some of that. So I'm going to go ahead and make some of those alloys. I got to stop this machine here, switch this into alloys only. And yeah, we have a lot. This is just going crazy over here. We have a lot of stuff. I need to replace this with a storage drawer. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that stuff going. Not storage drawer, we're talking about storage crate. And I'll be back. So after getting all those made, we should be able to now. And then also while I was off camera, I went ahead and turned back on my nether farm and made it a 9x9 as well. So that way it was nice and efficient and generating some mobs. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and get into thermal and the kit. And again, right now we're going to be upgrading our power. That was the main reason for this, but there are going to be other things later on down the line that we are going to need these for. So I have 4 of them. Oh wait, my my electrum's over here. I just made some of that. All right. So let's get this upgraded. So I'm gonna need 4 of the signalium kits. I hope I have enough for this. I hope. I mean, I know I'm gonna get a few of them at least upgraded, so I'm not too concerned by that. But we also need some of this. There we go. So I should be able to get 4 of those. Barely got 4 of those in. And then aluminum. Definitely have 4 of those. And last but not least, 4. Perfect. So we should be able to upgrade all of our machines. Now, let's take a look at augments. And remember, for our lava generation, the augments that we're using are these guys, the auxiliary transmission coils, which use silver. And we're going to need, since we have 4, we need 8 of them. Right? Because we're going to be upgrading all of them today. And these guys are going to be maxed. These are going to be the best that we can get out of these guys. Unfortunately, there's nowhere for our power to go. I can definitely fix that. Let's fix that real quick. Now we'll have somewhere for our power to go, because our power is just going to be disappearing here in a second, as it is fueling our spawner down here. Our spawner is definitely going to be active very soon. So now that we have that, a little bit of power somewhere for these to go, let's go ahead and get these guys generating their max power. Right, so we got to upgrade every single one of these. These guys are all on max. And now let's hook these guys up even further. And these guys, they should be producing, it's saying they should produce a max of 600 RF per tick a piece off of the lava that we are currently generating. Now, I'm still debating on whether or not these should be able to produce way more power than these guys. They should. But I don't have a way of showing the upgrade potential, because these guys can be stacked with 64 of these upgrades in them, and I just don't know what those are. We might find that out later on. As long as you stick around and continue watching, you might be able to find that out, because I know we can put some RF tool screens on these guys and it will show our RF gains and losses. But as far as we see right here, 600 RF a tick, it's doing a pretty good job. It doesn't seem like it's still enough to maintain everything that we have going on, because this is still draining. Now, the only thing that is being used here is just our mob spawner, right? It's just our spawner. But like I said, this is a really nice early game power generation. Like I said, we are still early game. This is nowhere near high-end power that is in this pack. High-end power in this pack is probably looking to be like nuclear craft, which, to be in all fairness, is not the hardest thing to do. I feel like we're probably going to be diving into nuclear craft very soon. I don't know, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think? If you guys have played this pack at all, and have seen the mods that are in it, what do you think will be some of the hardest things to get into? At least for power, what the best things to get into for power would be. Because you can't say, you can't just go like big reactors, right? Because big reactors are nerfed to the point of I don't even know if it's even usable to even have this mod in here, right? Like this is such a late game. These are blocks of steel just for 16 reactor cases. Blocks of steel, advanced alloys, carbon plates. I mean, this isn't hard to get, right? I guess it uses diorite or andesite and stuff like that off your off materials. But man, this is something else. Like, just to get all these different materials would take a little bit of time, and only for 16, right? Only for 16. So that'll take like some mass auto processing going on in order to get that set up. And that's only for that. That doesn't even talk about the controller, which the controller requires a fusion controller computer, which is like super high-end tech reborn. So yeah, that's not, I don't even think that that's a reliable option or a viable option, even though you can generate enormous amounts of power with big reactors. But nuclear craft definitely has some really good options as well for generating some power. I don't know. I think we had a pretty good day today. I think this was a pretty good day. I do plan on building, guys, in the next couple episodes, maybe episode 20. I think I'm going to build a pretty large structure here. And this is where we're going to start doing things like nuclear craft. This whole area is going to be like blown out. We are going to completely change the way this whole area over here looks. I'm pretty sure I'm going to build a nice little tower that is going to go up, and then over here in a few different spots we're going to have some more places to house machines. So we have several mods to get into. I do plan on, well, we need a pretty large area just for immersive engineering. Immersive engineering is a big tech mod in this pack. Huge, lots of mods, lots of things to go over, and I can't wait to do it with you guys. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode or enjoyed any of these episodes, I do recommend you guys clicking that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell so you guys can stay notified when I publish new videos just like this. Also, I don't promote this much, but I do live stream over at Twitch, so I recommend checking that out as well. It's twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. Pretty easy to find that. Also, everything is linked down in the description below. If I haven't said it enough, we also have a Discord. Man, a lot of self-promotion. But anyways, all that's down in the description, like I said. Guys, I really do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.